Kathy Eberly, Berkeley Mid-Atlantic Group.
Well, we've worked with Kathy for a number of years, many years, more years than I'd care to mention, and she has always been there for us. She's creative in suggestions. She helps with what we're trying to accomplish. I get the impression Kathy works as hard as we do. She's working for us to try and find solutions, to help us with solutions, not really underwriting by the book. Trying to give us ideas that we can work with to solve our problems. Well, Kathy's one that I can get a hold of. When I talk to her on the phone, I call her, we work out a solution, and a couple of emails and a couple of change requests, and it's handled.
Sharon LaRose, Selective.
Selective has, from a philosophical standpoint, has allowed Sharon to be my underwriter for the 13, 14 years of the Alliance, which in today's business underwriting environment is huge. So we've been able to establish a relationship with somebody that's professional, high integrity, and just being the same consistent voice every time when I call. And that sets the tone. When you have the voice that says, whether it's a good day or bad day, she has the same voice, and it's inviting for me to have a conversation with her. You have a problem that needs to be solved, and Sharon does that for us. The voice, when she picks up the phone, it's always the same, which is chipper. She will say, I might have a little bit of a question with that. Let me get back to you. And the huge part is she gets back to me. Not with an email, unless I ask her for an email, but she calls me, which is huge. She is not afraid to use the phone. And we're growing and we're having new opportunities, and it's because of what Sharon, with being able to know that there's somebody on the phone that I can call and will have an answer from me, if not immediately, within 24 hours or 2 days, she will have an answer for me. Having that is huge. And Sharon does that above and beyond the call duty.
Scott Billett, Miller's Mutual.
He's been extremely helpful. He's stepped in and filled some pretty big shoes. Part of it is he still underwrites. He doesn't just go to the book and say, this fits, it doesn't fit. You can have conversations with him. And his response, he actually responds quickly, turns accounts quickly when you need him to do so. And I've also had some difficult renewals where we've been able to discuss them and get the pricing into an area where it was sellable, where we were able to keep the renewal. So I had a nice little 60-unit apartment complex. We had very little time, about a week to turn it around. He got it rated up, got us to the price point we needed after some conversations on the risk. It's just his responsiveness is really his key. I mean, if he says he's going to do it, he's going to follow through. He'll get you to where you need to be, and the coverages are there with Miller's, and Miller's is a quality company with claims on the backside too, which really helps me sell that company.
Michelle Hackman, Penn National Insurance.
And it's just her positive energy. After talking to Michelle, you always come away with a little more motivation and excited attitude to get out there and work.
She's passionate. She likes what she does. She definitely believes in her company and her product.
You know, when you're out on the road and you have a question, someone throws you a question you might not know, she's always there to pick up the phone with a great answer and a good positive tidbit to send back to the customer.
Very enthusiastic about, hey, we'll at least look into this for you. We'll get back to you. You will hear from us. It won't fall into a black hole. But her energy level's there. She works hard.
She's an expert in her field. When you talk to Michelle, you always get an answer, and if she's not there, she always gets back to you as soon as possible with the correct answer.
And you know, when you send her an email or send her a phone call, she will get back to you or talk to you right away, which goes a long way in this industry, because there's too many that don't do that.
Josh Manmiller, Donegal Insurance Companies.
Being a new producer, Josh has been one of the infiltrators in helping me to go after accounts that have been a little trickier. His willingness has been the biggest benefit to me. Josh has been one of the few that has gone to bat and found ways to write the account instead of ways not to write the account. His ability to work around the negatives in an account to make it a positive, and the communication that comes with the relationship that he has with us. Well, he gives me the confidence that every account that I go out prospecting, that I have an opportunity with the carrier to be able to help out that company. Knowing that I have him in my back pocket to be able to work with me on accounts that maybe are unique to other carriers gives me the confidence going forward that I can help out my insured, hopefully with Donna.
Brian Deutsch, the Cincinnati Insurance Companies.
Brian Deutsch isn't your typical loss control representative. What he does is that he looks at the account from a different perspective rather than going in and kind of giving, he gives a consultative approach rather than a risk person going in and just giving recommendations.
Brian absolutely gives me the impression and the feeling that he's truly compassionate and really cares about what's best for the clients.
Really behind the scenes. And he's the real person that can make you write or not write an account by the way that he looks at it.
I don't feel that it's a single answer that he gives a client. He really goes into the extra steps necessary to really help them understand things, to help them run a more efficient and effective business.
Brian really cares about the well-being of the client. He just won't do things that other risk control service people will. What he does is actually form a plan of an action plan that the insured can really use.
The assistance that he gives me even prior to a sale has really allowed me to be more efficient and effective with being able to help my clients see things from a loss control standpoint.
He truly knows what to look for and what not to look for. So last November, we had 3 days to write an account that was so far outside the box. Brian Deutsch not only went out there within 24 hours, he inspected, drove over 100 miles, and because of his great review of the account, we ended up writing.
Dana Leach, Chubb.
He always is very educational for us and helps us to determine what's needed, and then also goes out with the client to see what do they need and how can they be of any assistance to us to get the job done. Well, I think his ears are always on to help us out in any way he can, and so he's responsive, he's ready, always ready to be a lot of help to us. We had a bank who wanted to talk about something instructional for their clients on this whole cyber liability. He provided lots of detail, met with the client with us, and really went the extra step. Well, I think certainly he's been very helpful, and there's a lot of times we go to him at the last second with, here's what we're talking about, here's what we need, what can you do, what can't you do, how can we get it done, and he's always jolly on the spot.
Susan Coyne, Harleysville.
Susan Coyne has been a go-to person for us. Her knowledge, her willingness to listen, her ability to be creative. When it comes to marine and business, you really need some creativity from time to time. You run into special situations, and she steps up and figures out a way to solve some problems for us. We really needed to place a builder's risk. It was crucial for our customer. The time frame was short. In fact, she was at her son's hockey game, I think, and when she got back to me. So really appreciated that extra effort. Well, we write a lot of contractors, and the fact that Susan can step up with the right kind of products and, again, the creativity that comes in there, it really has helped us secure some of those contractors' business.
Gail Holden, Westfield Insurance.
She gets back to me with anything that I need and in a timely fashion. I mean, if I email her one day, she'll get back to me either that day or the next day. Oh, she's very professional. She always gets the information that I need. I think that it is the responsiveness. I think the things that I ask Gail for aren't so much maybe helping me underwrite something, but getting the information on the policy that's already written that the customer is looking for or that I'm looking for. From loss runs to, are we covered for this specific thing? And, things like that. Can I add this to the policy? And if I do, what would the premium be? She gets back to me right away with those answers so that I can get back to my customers with those answers right away. When an insured asks me a question, if I can get back to them in a timely fashion, I think it makes me look good, it makes the agency look good.
Tony Longo, Selective.
Tony's normal, everyday performance goes above and beyond what we get from a lot of different places.
I do write more business with Tony, and it is faster. I don't have the time to sit around and wait 3 or 4 days for somebody to review a submission. So when he jumps on it right away, whether it is a yes or a no, those yeses, he looks at it, we write it, we bind it, and it's done.
He makes doing business easy.
Tony doesn't hide behind emails. He will pick up the phone and call you, even if it is only a couple-second phone call.
Everything that he says he's going to do, he does, and he does it in a timely fashion.
Tony takes that extra time to call you, talk to you about it, even if he's not going to write the account.
He lets you know what he can do, and when he can't do it, he's quick to tell you that so he doesn't take you down the garden path.
Tony will look at an account as soon as it comes across his desk. He'll look through it, he'll see what he can or can't do to write the account, and he'll call you up and say, all right, if you can tell me 1, 2, and 3 why I should do this, I'll look at it for you. And sometimes that does help get the account written.
We can depend on him. When he says he's going to do it, we know it's going to get done, and that makes it easier to conduct business.
He gets back to you quick, fast answers, and that's what you want in this type of job, fast answers.
Reese Davis, All Risks.
A lot of good things about Reese. He might be a workaholic in a good way. I mean, he answers the phone anytime you call him. I called him at 7 in the morning, picks up, and he's always willing to have a conversation on an account. He can talk to you about just about any account or, put you in the right direction. And that goes a long way when you run into some things that might fit outside our wheelhouse. It goes a long way in, our new business efforts. His knowledge about, off-the-wall stuff really helps us.
Cindy Thompson, Safeco Insurance.
When she was appointed as the underwriter for our office for the Alliance, she really kind of took hold of it and made her best efforts to reach out to all of us right away, let us know that she was going to be there for us if we needed to have something, if there was the not so easy to place cases especially. She really is good at getting back to me. I'm used to some underwriters taking their sweet time getting back to me, but she was able, she's constantly, on email, on the phone. She gets back to you in a really quick manner. I had a home that was in a protection class 10. She was willing to look at it. It was a commercial client of ours. As long as they have certain things in place, she didn't have a problem right now. She's given me the faith to actually look at Safeco every time I have some new business coming in the door.
Craig Ryder, Lidditz Mutual Insurance Company.
I find his knowledge to be incredible, just in general on insurance and forms. I will often call upon him just to help answer general questions, not necessarily specific to Lidditz. We recently just had him into the agency to do some training on condominium coverage. I do call upon him if I have kind of a strange situation. I had a case where we had a piece of new business on a home. The outbuilding was really pretty bad. And he kind of guided me into, at this point in time, let's not put coverage on that outbuilding, keep the home insured, which was important to us, but let this person take the time to make the repairs necessary, and then it could be insured. So that was something that was really useful. It allowed me to write a piece of business.
Dave Schumann, Penn National Insurance.
He has just done a phenomenal job for myself personally and for others in the agency as we've been successful in writing new business with Penn National. He had done a very large, almost pull a rabbit out of the hat type of new business production for us. It was a Friday. I get a phone call from the people that are starting up this operation. They called me on Friday, and I met with them at noontime, and they needed insurance cover Tuesday of the next week. We explained the operation to them. It was high hazard, high risk, new venture. And we were able to piece it together, and Dave wrote that for us. We didn't hit the Tuesday deadline, but we had a Thursday deadline, and we bound about a $600,000 account with about 4 days. I was communicating and emailing with Dave at 7 o'clock at night, I think on a Wednesday, and I don't think his office hours go that late. I think he was probably wrapping up at 4 or 5, but he was still in the office working on it at 7.
Amy Trujillo, the Cincinnati Insurance Companies.
When I have an account that there could be some questions on, she tries to work diligently to make this happen, to try and write the account and to also write the coverages that I want to be able to provide for the insurance. I was sent out on a commercial account to write the personal lines. When I got there, they had a log home. Also, New York property was involved, a log home also. But through Cincinnati, we were able to work the account, write the business, which actually led to one of the larger life insurance sales that I've made. Again, we'll go back to the ease of doing business. She knows the product, so when it comes time to write the account and I present her with all the information, she helps me make the decisions. Again, as a producer, I want to write every account that I come across. Amy's the buffer for that. She's the underwriter, and she helps me write the accounts that we should write and sometimes not write the accounts that we shouldn't. And that helps me out tremendously.
She tries to find a way to write business for you and with you. She gets back to you in a timely manner. If she can't write it, she'll tell you that quickly so she doesn't waste your time. Those are two of the things that set her apart from any other underwriter that we do business with.
Neil Ryan, Donegal Insurance Companies.
During the storm Hurricane Sandy that came through last October, Neil was one of the top adjusters that we had. He came back to us on a timely fashion, visited our insureds, discussed their damages, wrote them out a check right then and there. I couldn't have been more happier with his services. We had one whole barn collapse. He was out there the next morning, went through everything with our insured. Our insured actually called us the same day, very happy with the response that we got from Neil. And this was only one insurer of many that Neil went out to visit for us. There were a lot of adjusters that it took 14, 16 days to contact our insured. Just a hello, we are your adjuster, reaching out to the insureds. Neil was right then and there. He gets back to me if I call him at the end of the day. I usually, by the time I get in the next morning, he already has my question answered for the insured. In any claim that I have with Neil, it's like when I see he gets assigned, especially property losses, that's what he does. It's like, oh yeah, I know this claim will be handled very well.